Imagine a civilization so vibrant and mysterious that, even in the face of the overwhelming power of Rome, it never lost its essence. A people who left a legacy marked by their bravery, their art, and their beliefs, and which still resonates today in the culture of many nations. Who were the Celts? How did they come about? And what made them so special? In this video, we embark on a fascinating journey, exploring the origins of these enigmatic people, their rise, and the rich culture that shaped their identity. The history of these people begins long before any Roman records or the epic battles that would be fought. In the heart of Central Europe, between the mountains and valleys that today make up Austria and southern Germany, one of the most fascinating civilizations of antiquity was born. It was during the Bronze Age, between 1200 and 800 BC, during the so-called Hallstatt culture, that the first traces of a distinct culture began to emerge. These people, later known as the Celts, ushered in an era marked by innovation, a spiritual connection with nature, and an extraordinary skill in shaping metal. The region's strategic location also favored trade with other advanced civilizations of the time, such as the Greeks and Etruscans. Through these interactions, the Celts not only acquired exotic goods, but also assimilated outside ideas and influences. Northern amber, Mediterranean ceramics, and finely crafted jewelry are evidence of an extensive trade network that connected Celtic peoples with distant cultures. These exchanges transformed Celtic identity, creating a unique balance between tradition and innovation. The Celts pioneered the mastery of iron, transforming it into sturdy tools, lethal weapons, and adornments that reflected the wealth and status of their society. More than just functional, ironwork became a form of artistic expression, with intricate patterns that highlighted his keen aesthetic and cultural sense. This metal, which was initially a resource, quickly turned into a symbol of power and progress. Celtic society was a complex and well-defined structure, where each social layer played a crucial role in the survival and success of its people. At the top of the hierarchy was a powerful warrior elite, whose wealth and political influence were as impressive as their skills on the battlefield. These leaders were seen not only as military commanders, but also as guardians of order and protectors of the traditions that united the tribes. The status of this elite was often symbolized by their iron weapons and ornaments. Swords decorated with tangled patterns, helmets adorned with stunning detail, and wrought iron jewelry were much more than tools or accessories. They were declarations of power, dignity, and prestige. Religion played a central role in the lives of the Celts, permeating all aspects of their social and cultural organization. Archaeological finds from Hallstatt have revealed the deep spiritual bond of the Celts. Complex rituals, evidenced by the rich tombs of their leaders, showed a deep-rooted belief in the afterlife and the importance of honoring one's ancestors. They also revered nature as a manifestation of the divine, viewing rivers, mountains, trees, and other natural elements as sacred. These places, often marked by rituals and celebrations, were considered portals to the spiritual world. Druids, the religious leaders of Celtic society, acted as mediators between men and the gods, guiding the rites and preserving ancestral wisdom. The Celtic economy was diversified and well-structured, based on a strong trade network. Metals such as iron were particularly valuable, not only for making weapons and tools, but also as barter goods. Furthermore, the Celts produced a wide variety of products ranging from fabrics and ceramics to agricultural products, all traded with other neighboring tribes and civilizations. These exchanges not only strengthened the economy, but also created cultural bridges that connected the Celts to other ancient peoples. The social and cultural organization of the Celts, with their well-defined hierarchy, dynamic economy, and deep reverence for nature, provided the foundation for their incredible resilience and expansion. With strong leaders, an efficient trade network, and a spirituality that united the tribes, the Celts were not just survivors. They were innovators and conquerors. These foundations allowed, around 500 BC, the Celts to enter a period of great territorial expansion and cultural flourishing, known as the era of Latin culture. This new phase not only consolidated Celtic influence in already inhabited regions, but also took their way of life, their art and their beliefs to distant territories, shaping the identity of one of the most fascinating peoples of antiquity. With a solid cultural identity and an impressive ability to adapt, the Celts spread across vast regions, taking with them their unique customs, beliefs, and artistic styles. The culture of Latin is widely recognized as the pinnacle of Celtic art, characterized by nature-inspired decorative motifs such as spirals, stylized animals, and curved line patterns. This form of expression reflected the Celts' deep connection with the natural and spiritual world. Artifacts from this period, weapons, jewelry, and ceremonial objects, were not only functional but also pieces of art, designed to inspire and impress. Celtic expansion led their tribes to occupy a vast range of territories, shaping the cultural landscapes of places such as Gaul, present-day France, the British Isles, United Kingdom and Ireland, the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal, northern Italy and the Danube Valley. In each new region, the Celts found ways to integrate their customs with local characteristics, creating a rich tapestry of cultural influences. Although they formed independent tribes without a central authority or unified government, the Celts were linked by a common culture. Their shared language, mythology, art, and social structure transcended geographic boundaries, allowing them to maintain a cohesive identity even across such dispersed territories. This tribal independence was also their strength, as it allowed them flexibility and resilience, but at the same time presented a challenge when facing organized enemies, such as the Romans, in future wars. On the battlefields, the Celts and Romans fought some of the most intense conflicts in antiquity, marked by cultural clashes and epic battles. The first major confrontation between these two powers occurred in 390 BC, when the Senans, a Celtic tribe led by Brennus, invaded and sacked Rome. This humiliating defeat left a deep mark on Roman memory, fueling centuries of fear and resentment towards the Celts. The phrase attributed to Brennus, "Woe to the vanquished," symbolized the arrogance of the victors and echoed throughout history as a reminder of the devastating power of the Celts. The following centuries were marked by intermittent conflicts and tensions, but the real turning point came at the end of the 1st century BC, with the Gallic Wars. Under the command of Julius Caesar, Rome launched a brutal campaign between 58 and 50 BC to subjugate the Celts of Gaul, the territory corresponding to present-day France and parts of Belgium, Switzerland, and Germany. These wars were both a demonstration of Roman military power and an attempt to consolidate control over a strategic, resource-rich region. During these campaigns, a Celtic leader emerged as a symbol of resistance. Vercingetorix, charismatic and strategist, he achieved a rare feat among the Celts, unifying several Gallic tribes under a common cause against the Roman advance. In 52 BC, he challenged Caesar in one of the most famous battles in history, the Battle of Alesia. Despite his military brilliance and the courage of his warriors, Vercingetorix was surrounded and defeated by Roman forces. Captured, he was taken to Rome, where, after years of imprisonment, he was paraded at Caesar's triumph and publicly executed. The defeat at Alesia marked the beginning of the end of Celtic independence in Gaul. A process of Romanization followed, in which Celtic language, customs, and religion were gradually replaced by Roman culture. Urbanization, with the construction of cities in the Roman style, and the imposition of a centralized administration were powerful tools in this process. Still, traces of Celtic culture persisted for centuries, especially in peripheral and rural regions where Romanization was less complete. This advance in Romanization in Gaul symbolized the decline of Celtic autonomy on the European continent. However, the islands to the north remained challenging territory for the Roman Empire. When the Romans set their sights on the British Isles, they encountered fierce resistance from the Celtic tribes that inhabited the region. In 43 AD, during the reign of Emperor Claudius, the Romans began their invasion of Britain, facing tribes that were far from surrendering without a fight. The campaign was marked by brutal clashes and the determination of the Celts to defend their lands and traditions, even against the overwhelming power of the Roman army. Among the many episodes of resistance, few were as emblematic as the revolt led by Boudica, the queen of the Iceni tribe. In 61 AD, after suffering abuse and humiliation at the hands of the Romans, Boudica united Celtic tribes in a rebellion that shook the Roman occupation. She led her forces in a series of devastating raids, destroying cities such as Camulodunum, modern Colchester, Londinium, London, and Verulamium, St. Albans. Although initially victorious, the revolt was crushed by an organized and ruthless military response. Boudica became an eternal symbol of Celtic courage and endurance, her legend echoing through generations. Further north, the Picts, known for their ferocity and skill in ambushes, presented a formidable challenge to the Romans. These warriors, whose distinctive culture included tattoos and body painting, were never completely subjugated. The Roman inability to control the Picts led to the construction of the famous Hadrian's Wall in 122 AD, an imposing barrier intended to protect the Roman provinces of Britannia from incessant attacks from the north. While Britain saw the advance of Roman power, Ireland remained beyond its reach. Never invaded by the empire, the island preserved its Celtic traditions more fully. This isolation allowed Celtic culture, language, and religion to flourish for centuries, becoming a refuge for a way of life that was all but erased elsewhere in Europe. And if you don't already know, one of the traditions here on the channel is to leave a like on each video here. So don't let this culture die, and leave yours here. In the 5th century AD, with the collapse of the Roman Empire in the West, Christianity began to expand across the ancient Celtic lands, bringing profound cultural changes and redefining the identity of a people that had already resisted so many transformations over the centuries. Christian missionaries such as St. Patrick played a key role in this process, especially in Ireland, where Christianity found fertile soil in which to flourish. St. Patrick, often associated with the introduction of Christianity to Ireland, used Celtic symbols to facilitate acceptance of the new faith. The shamrock, for example, became an icon of Celtic Christianity, representing the Holy Trinity. This fusion of religious traditions was not only a strategic move, but also a reflection of the Celts' ability to integrate new elements into their culture without completely abandoning their roots. Another striking symbol of this integration is the Celtic cross, which combines the traditional shape of the Christian cross with the circle, an important element in Celtic symbolism, often associated with the sun and eternity. This symbol, in addition to reflecting the spiritual transition of the Celts, became a lasting icon of Christianity in lands that were previously exclusively pagan. At the same time, Christian monks played a crucial role in preserving Celtic culture. Manuscripts such as the Book of Kells, one of the most beautiful and sophisticated examples of medieval illumination, are testaments to the rich interaction between ancient Celtic art and the new faith. These texts not only documented Christian stories and myths, but also incorporated elements of Celtic traditions such as decorative patterns, mythical characters, and an aesthetic deeply rooted in local culture. The Christianization of the Celts was, therefore, a process of cultural transformation rather than a complete rupture. Rather than erasing its heritage, Christianity intertwined with the Celts' rich culture of beliefs, symbols, and art, creating a new identity that kept many of their traditions alive. However, as the centuries passed, as Christianity consolidated its presence in Celtic lands, other challenges emerged, threatening the survival of a way of life that had already faced so many adversities. Celtic culture faced inevitable decline in the face of external forces that shaped medieval Europe. Invasions by people such as the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings contributed to the fragmentation of Celtic societies and the loss of their political independence. However, even in the face of these adversities, the Celtic essence did not completely disappear, finding refuge in certain regions and leaving a lasting legacy. As Celtic territories in continental Europe were assimilated by other peoples, many Celts found new roles in a changing world. Some became mercenaries serving foreign armies, including the powerful Byzantine Empire. Although admired for their courage and skill in combat, these Celtic warriors often lost connection to their original traditions, integrating themselves into the cultures they fought for. Despite the decline on the continent, the Celtic lands of the British Isles, especially Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, have kept many of their traditions alive. In these regions, Celtic languages, such as Irish Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic, and Welsh, continue to be spoken, becoming pillars of local identity. Celtic myths and legends, such as the stories of the heroes of the Ulster Cycle, the adventures of King Arthur, and the tales of the Mabinogion, were passed down from generation to generation, preserving the rich culture of their ancestors. In addition to languages and myths, other Celtic traditions, such as music and art, also survived. Traditional melodies and instruments like the Celtic harp continue to resonate today, while decorative patterns inspired by Latin art live on in jewelry, textiles, and other artifacts. Among these many cultural aspects that the Celts left as a legacy, few are as emblematic as the Festival of Samhain, a celebration that spanned the centuries and evolved to give rise to the modern Halloween. Held between October 31st and November 1st, Samhain marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, a transitional period full of symbolism and mystery. For the Celts, Samhain was not only a change of season, but also a time when the veil between the world of the living and the dead became thinner. They believed that during this time, the spirits of the dead could return to earth, bringing both blessings and troubles. To deal with this spiritual closeness, the Celts lit large community bonfires, considered sacred, where they offered crops and animals as a way of ensuring protection and prosperity in the approaching winter. Another common practice during the festival was the wearing of costumes made of fur and masks. These garments were intended to confuse or ward off evil spirits, protecting those who participated in the rituals. This custom, although transformed over time, remains the essence of the costumes used in modern Halloween. With the arrival of Christianity, the Samhain festival underwent an adaptation. The Catholic Church, seeking to integrate Celtic practices into the new religious system, established All Saints' Day on November 1st, a date to honor Christian saints and martyrs. The night before, called All Hallows' Eve, maintained many of the Celtic traditions, gradually evolving into the Halloween we know today. The Celts were an extraordinary people whose influence transcends centuries. From their origins in the mountains of Central Europe to their expansion and resistance to Roman power, they shaped history in an unmistakable way. Their culture, with its symbols, myths, and traditions, remains alive not only in the landscapes of Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, but also in the collective memory of humanity. Throughout their trajectory, the Celts taught us valuable lessons about the importance of preserving identity in the face of adversity and of integrating the new without losing what defines them. His art, his spirituality, and his courage continue to inspire, reminding us that even in the face of overwhelming forces, the human spirit can endure and flourish. Today, when we listen to a Celtic melody, read an ancient myth, or celebrate traditions like Halloween, we are connecting to a legacy that spans the ages. But what about you? What aspect of this fascinating culture caught your attention the most? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that YouTube recommends more content like this. And if you want to know why no other civilization copied the Roman army despite its military superiority, click here and check it out now.